Welcome back to our look ahead at local politics 2021 with Katie Lannan and Matt Murphy of the State House News Service. So it's mayoral election time this year in Boston. The incumbent, two-term incumbent, Marty Walsh, has not formally announced, but he's running. I think that's pretty clear if you look at his campaign expenditure reports and his campaign fundraising. Already two serious candidates from the city council, Michelle Wu and Andrea Campbell, have announced they'll challenge him. I'm going to start with you here, Matt. Is Marty Walsh in any way, shape, or form vulnerable?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think so. I mean, there were a lot of people who thought that Joe Biden's victory maybe would have been a parachute for Marty Walsh to join a Biden administration and go out, without having to face a significant challenge. But I don't think you can look at this race and think that he is not vulnerable. He certainly has a lot of institutional support. There are people who are very happy with the job that he's done over the past 7+ years, and we'll be with him. But this moment, the changing demographics in Boston, seeing now two women of color step up to challenge him, that we saw those dynamics play out in the race between Ayanna Pressley, former city councilor, and Congressman Capuano, and we saw what happened there. Congresswoman Pressley now a major player on the national stage. I think if you're Marty Walsh, you're starting from a strong point of incumbency with a lot of money and a lot of institutional support, but you would have to be worried.
What do you think, Katie?
Yeah, I mean, I think Matt makes some good points there. The parallels to the Pressley-Capuano race are definitely there. And I think that contest definitely showed us that if you're going to take on an incumbent who has all those advantages, that you have to come with a reason that voters should pick you. It's not just about picking someone else, it's about why you specifically. And with two challengers, we'll certainly see that, two or more, who knows who else may end up jumping in there. But Michelle Wu and Andrea Campbell really bringing with them some fresh perspectives. You know, we have Councillor Campbell talking about systemic inequities, Michelle Wu, Councillor Wu, talking about kind of building a broader political system and ecosystem in Boston, and it'll be really interesting to see if those narratives catch on with voters.
Real quick answers here. Is there a snowball's chance in a bonfire that Marty Walsh might decide he'd like to return to Beacon Hill as governor? He did serve in the House for a number of years. Go ahead, Katie.
I don't think anything's off the table, you know?
Yeah. Matt?
I say sure, why not? Maybe it depends on what that race looks like. I think the mayor's heart is in the city, but you never know.
Showdown of the bros, right? Supposedly Baker and Walsh have this bro-tastic relationship. Okay, let's wrap it up with a story to watch in the new year that may be a little bit off the general radar. Matt, why don't you go first?
Oh, off the radar. Well, I was going to go, apologies, but a little obvious here. I think we've seen the governor roll out his plan for vaccine distribution. The plan is to get this into the general population by the spring. And so much, I think, hinges on the success of this and convincing people, whether it's through their public awareness campaigns and their messaging or just the trajectory of this virus. It's going to be key to what the budget looks like for the state moving forward, whether or not we're debating taxes come the summer. So I would watch to see how smoothly the vaccine rollout plan gets deployed.
Good pick. Katie Lannan.
Well, I'm going to cheat a little bit here and I think go back in time to some of the things we talked about last year as issues to watch when we had this conversation. You know, as we slowly, hopefully start to transition out of pandemic mode, the transportation and housing crises are going to look different, but they'll still be there. You know, will we see more people driving already overly congested roads because they're leery of taking public transit? Will people who took advantage of work from home to move further afield from the Boston area now have longer commutes? And those are still issues that are going to need to be dealt with. Congestion was at a tipping point a year ago. Home prices are continuing to skyrocket. These are still going to be major issues once the pandemic has receded.
And, playing off your remark about transportation and how commuting habits are going to change, I would nominate a strife at the MBTA between management and the unions as the pressure builds, not just budgetary pressure, but political pressure for automation and privatization of key services. Not a news story necessarily, but one I think is going to come front and center. Matt Murphy, Katie Lannan, ace reporters from the State House News Service, thank you for your time and have a happy, healthy new year.
Happy 2021, John.
And the same to all our viewers. Thanks for joining us. Right now, back over to my colleagues for more WBZ News.